going. Sorry about that, folks. We lost our first 6 minutes to the online networks. Anyway, we're going to get started, and we're going to start talking about what's the word? Accountability. We're going to start talking about accountability. And here's the deal, folks. The United States like to think about itself as the first world nation. And previous to Donald Trump, I think it was clear enough that we could consider ourselves that. But subsequently, with the election of Donald Trump, we appear more like a banana republic. And countries that we like to call banana republics, in as much as they aren't, I mean, Brazil has a huge economy. Brazil has quite a bit going for it. Um, they are the ones acting responsibly. They are the ones making sure that folks are accountable. And that is something that they should be applauded for. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Uh, there's an article that came out this was it? I think it was this morning. Actually, it was on the 22nd, Saturday. Guess who got arrested? Guess who got arrested? Jair Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro was arrested. Who is Bolsonaro? He was the former president of Brazil who attempted to do the same kind of coup that Donald Trump attempted in the United States. The difference is that the different legs, the different stools, the different branches of government in Brazil functioned as they should. In the United States of America, the country purported to be a democracy. The country purported to be follow the rules of law, which makes it different than a banana republic, etc., has failed to put behind bars the person who instigated the deaths of police officers at the Capitol, the death of one of their own supporters at the Capitol, the attack and desecration of our Capitol, and putting our country's democracy at risk. That person didn't only not pay for what he did, that person didn't not only go to jail, that person was reelected again. Who's the Banana Republic? Who is the Banana Republic, folks? We better learn and atone from what we've done, because we have the only moral power we have now is not really a moral power. It's a power that we have the biggest damn military in the world. That's the only thing that gives us authority over the world. Saying that we follow laws, say that we do the humane thing, that no longer applies. A country that can't even keep its citizens healthy. Who's the Banana Republic again? Costa Rica sends out people, social workers, to every single resident of Costa Rica. It takes them, I don't remember how many years to go through the cycle. But every single resident is touched by their social services, not only for their physical health, but for their mental health, making sure they're healthy. The richest country in the world puts that all for sale. If you can afford it, you can get good health care. If you cannot afford it, you die. Who is the Banana Republic? Well, we got a lot more to talk about, but Johnny's on the line. Come on in, Johnny.
Yeah, you know what? On that list, you forgot. I'm trying to my voice coming back at me big time. Anyway, I hope you can hear me okay.
Yes, I can.
Okay. So on that list you gave, you forgot that he also gave up his vice president to the mob.
Yes,
Let's
you're
not
correct.
forget that.
Yes, you're right.
I think we care. But, yeah, who's the Banana Republic? Who had nurses and doctors with medical gear and aid supplies ready to go to help the people of Louisiana after Hurricane Katrina? and capitalist Republican Donald Trump and Republican George Bush said no. Yeah, I think we're the banana republic. We
Yeah.
are. As 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 far as Mandami is concerned, if he has another White House visit, I would look forward to Mandami pleasantly pointing out to Donald Trump in front of reporters that he treated Ukrainian leader Zelensky horribly, while at the same time treating that Bonesaw killer with utter respect and saying, "Why do you take so much money from him that you feel you have to be disrespectful towards the other guy who's duly elected leader?" And if Donald Trump doesn't say anything, then you know we got him.
Well, the
And
other thing is, I
also,
don't.
we have
Go ahead.
donuts.
Go ahead.
Which, what, and I'll show up with donuts to celebrate. What do you think about that?
I think you're absolutely right. Let me tell you something else, Johnny. Anybody who watched 60 Minutes, I mean, it kind of brought tears to your eyes. A young woman walking down the streets, one of the bombs, one of the drones from Russia comes hit an apartment building near a bus, and after the
Yeah,
shrapnel, the woman walks for about 5 or 10 seconds like nothing and then
then
just
she collapsed.
collapse and dies. I mean, that is something that is happening thousands of times throughout the week. In this isn't a military battle. This is a terrorist attack by one state on another, and
Yes,
we are not. And our media is not representing it as it should. If our media was representing it as it should, Americans would realize that, wait a minute, suppose some other country did that to us. It's ridiculous. But anyway, accountability, Brian. I mean, hear me, Brian. Wow, I called you Brian.
what?
Accountability. I don't know. Brian must have been on my mind. Accountability, Johnny. Accountability,
That what I
Johnny.
do to you?
I don't know, maybe because I was thinking about Trump, but accountability, Johnny.
Okay.
Bolsonaro is now in jail. Bolsonaro is now in jail because he attempted to take he has the tracking device on his feet. Here's what they say. Former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro, a right wing ally of U.S. President Donald Trump, was arrested in Brazil early Saturday morning following concerns he might flee the country. Bolsonaro was under house arrest awaiting the result of his appeal after he was tried and sentenced to 27 years in prison for plotting a coup and the assassination of current Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva and other officials. Brazil just succeeded where America failed, bringing a former president who assaulted democracy to justice. Again, I repeat, Brazil just succeeded where America failed, bringing a
Good
former
news, but
president who assaulted democracy to justice. Go ahead.
this is good news, but I'm confused about something. Wasn't didn't Bolsonaro go to Florida a year or so ago?
Yes, Bolsonaro was living in Florida. Okay, Bolsonaro was living in Florida. You are absolutely correct. So
And then he
now,
come back.
yes, shame, isn't it?
Well, then
Shame.
he got what he deserved.
Yes, he got what he deserved. Anyway, folks, Johnny, I got to continue. So thank you for
Oh,
calling
have a
in,
good
my
day.
brother. You too, my friend. As far as those who are only receiving one side of the conversation, we'll go ahead and look into fixing the mapping in as soon as we can. But anyway, folks, it is important that what's the word that I want to use here? It is important that we get the picture. Anyway, folks, continuing with the program, the next item on our list is, and bear with me one second, Jake Tapper held GOP senator in contempt. Yesterday, Bill Cassidy appeared. And by the way, folks, the telephone number 713-526-5738. Again, that number is 713-526-5738. Repeating again, 713-526-5738. Anyway, let me just say this. Bill Cassidy, senator, he's one on the chair of the House. And what I want to say is that unfortunately, unfortunately, uh, he doesn't do things as he should. He was the person who had the last vote for putting Kennedy, for putting Kennedy on, and it's something that we really should. What is the word that I'm trying to figure out? What's the word that I want to use uh, to talk about what he's actually done? But I can't think of that word right now. But anyhow, we'll go ahead and go on with it. What Bill Cassidy did was appeared with Jake Tapper on CNN. And when he appeared with Jake Tapper, uh, Jake Tapper said, look, the guy changed the website. And when he changed the website, what occurred was he pretty much said that the vaccines could actually cause autism. Well, Jake Tapper would have none of. Jake Tapper challenged him and said, remember, he promised you that he wouldn't do that, but he did. And the senator wanted to make it seem like somehow what Jake was doing was trying to create a fight among Republicans, which was far from the case, right? Jake was just pointing out a fact that the guy did not do what he said he would do. And that got him upset. Well, I need to play this piece, but our friend, I tell you what, let me go ahead and play that piece, and then we'll see if our relay is working for this one, and then try to make any corrections that we have to make thereafter. So here we go with that right now. Extra, extra. Today, Jake Tapper, CNN host, displayed a modicum of a spine when he interviewed Senator Bill Cassidy. And I want to tell you something. Normally, when Democrats are being interviewed, when progressives are being interviewed, when others are being interviewed, Jake Tapper is usually tough on them. But you bring a Republican into the House, he generally lets them slide. Well, all these hosts on mainstream media make them slide with a whole lot of easy comebacks or no comebacks at all. Well, today, Tapper didn't do that. And there's something that I constantly say. When these guys do well, we should give them the kudos with the expectation that these kudos, wherever it's coming from, will kind of urge them to do better, even as we know the influence from the corporatocracy would have them continue the modus operandi. But again, kudos to Jake Tapper. I want you to see how we push back on Senator Bill Cassidy here.
As you know, this goes way beyond just vaccinations. A member of the Kennedy family this weekend, Tatiana Schlossberg, JFK's granddaughter, she has a moving essay in The New Yorker about her fatal cancer diagnosis. And in it, she writes, quote, as I spent more and more of my life under the care of doctors, nurses, and researchers striving to improve the lives of others, I watched as Bobby, that's a reference to RFK Jr., cut nearly $500 million for research into mRNA vaccines, technology that could be used against certain cancers. He slashed billions in funding from the NIH. And she goes on and on and on. RFK Jr., according to his own family, is causing real damage to the health of the United States of America. You don't seem willing to criticize him by name at all, unlike members of his family.
So, Jake, clearly, this conversation, you want me to be on the record saying something negative. And of course, it makes news if Republicans spite each other. I get that.
I don't even know that he's a Republican.
Rather focusing upon or whatever. But but I'm all about how do we make America healthy? And I speak as a physician. And I don't think the tit for tat is what people are about. I don't think the inside the beltway, oh, he said, she said, he said, he said. I think what's important, Jake, and what we should be focused on right now is how do we make America healthy? You mentioned healthcare costs. Right now, some insurance policies are so expensive that people cannot afford the deductible, so they don't get the needed care. That actually has more of an impact upon making people healthy than the New Yorker essay, which is a good essay, I understand. I'm not minimizing. But if we're actually going to speak to people, get vaccinated, discuss with your physician, but also how do we help it so you can afford the health care? And so, Jake, I know it's titillating, but I think we need to move beyond the titillation into actually what matters to the American people.
I'm going to turn to your health care plan because I know you really want to talk about it, but I'll just say this isn't about titillation. This is about the fact that you are the chairman of the health committee. And you voted to confirm somebody that, by all accounts from the medical and scientific community and his own family, including his dying cousin, this health secretary is actually making America less healthy when it comes to vaccines and studies.
So, yes, Bill Cassidy wanted to make it seem like, oh, Jake Tapper wanted to create a civil war between Republican against Republican. Of course, Jake Tapper, again, he's a very smart dude. Normally doesn't show a lot of it with Republicans, but he showed it here. He said, whoa. Kennedy's not even a Republican. And by the way, you're the one who put him there. So I am not looking to be titillating or anything like that. I am just saying that this guy's a clear and present danger. You are the vote that got him there. Why don't you ever speak out against him by name? Why don't you actually do what's necessary so the American populace of all sides would see this guy is a clear and present danger to the American people? Jake did it. And he didn't just do it for one cycle. He did it and he got back. Kudos to you, Jake Tapper. Now let's keep that up. But of course, we know we cannot trust that these people would come back because, in fact, after this, watching other news of the Sunday morning, we watch the lies go uncontested, the misinformation go uncontested. But for this one, good job, Jake Tapper. Absolutely. Very good job, Jake Tapper. It was like, oh, I'm proud of you. Well, anyway, we have quite a few folks in our chat that want to go ahead and acknowledge Lynette. How you doing, Lynette? We started the link a bit late this morning. Actually, that's my fault. Burnham Goodner, welcome aboard. Kimberly M. Mueller, Gayla Kunis, Bob Reiger, N.K. Gennard, Astedion, Gayla Kunis from Evans, Georgia, Helen Metters, Boreal, Chickadee, I was thinking Aurora Borealis. We also have Stephen Rosen, Weig, I believe it is. Stedion. We have Jane B. in North Carolina, Florida. I guess Asterion is in Florida. Welcome to Asterion. We also have Asterion says KPFT 90.1 FM Radio rocks. Anytime you give us kudos, we love you anyway or anything. We have Lisa Blair in Atlanta, Georgia, and Lita Bearcat in Austin, Texas. We have folks on every corner, including the Midwest, on with us. Agave, welcome aboard. Marnie says, politicians hate wages completely full of, I can't say that word on FCC, will slap me down for it. Stephen, the fact he is an actual physician or has been makes it so much worse. You know, these guys have given up their profession, their values to follow a nincompoop. I hate to say it that way. You're a trained doctor and you listen to the president. I remember the trained doctor that we had with the president, sitting next to the president. I can't remember her name right now. And while he's talking about injecting bleach and putting lasers or lights into your body, she just sat there. She just sat there. That was depressing, to say the least. That was utterly depressing to watch that happen. Anyway, folks, we're continuing here con el programa. Y el programa dice lo siguiente. The program says the following. Oh, but before I go there, I need to talk a little bit about this weekend. I got invited to a Democratic dinner this weekend where I got a chance to talk to both Representative, uh, uh, something, it's early morning. I get a blank every so early in the morning. But Jamie Raskin, how could I forget Jamie Raskin, the impeachment manager? So I got a chance to speak to Jamie Raskin and also Jasmine Crockett. It was a great weekend, and I did. Raskin gave uh, a hell a hell of a speech, and what I did is I took out the partisan pieces of the speech out to make it a speech that all Americans should feel very comfortable listening to. And the reason I did that was it was a constitutional speech, and a constitutional speech should apply to absolutely all. But I tell you, it was a very powerful afternoon. Well, I should say evening. It was a very powerful evening with several Texas representatives, several Texas judges, etc. And of course, Jamie Raskin and Jasmine Crockett were the featured speakers. And Jasmine, of course, never disappoints. She went ahead and she made a statement that you guys hear me make all of the times here. For those of you who are waiting around the country for Texas to do the right thing, I think this is the year that should put Texas on the path to where it needs to go. And Jasmine said it right when she said, Texas is not a red state. Texas is a non voting state. If you add up all the different pieces of Texas, Texas, in by all rights, should be a blue state. Let me tell you better. I have a friend who's running for a particular office here, high office here in Texas, and he has gone to all 254 Texas states and spoken to people all over the state. Buenas mañanas, buenos dias, barba fetante from Austin. Great to see you here, beautiful. Anyway, I've spoken to him, and he'd been to all 254 counties in Texas. And what he said is that there were so many people that said they love what he spoke about, but it's just they couldn't get over the caricature that the media they listen to have turned, have made him look like. And even though they like him because of the people he would be working with, you know, I guess they have horns. And when he was telling me that story, I reminded him of a story that occurred with me at a Starbucks. I'm sitting down at a Starbucks, and I know a lot of you have heard this, but we have a lot of new listeners and who haven't, so I'm going to make it quick. And I'm sitting down speaking to this woman, and she wanted to know why I was in Starbucks all of the time, writing in front of my computer, all that good stuff. And I explained to her, and eventually we got into talking about her health care and health insurance and what she wanted, etc. And yes, I did give her some leading questions, but ultimately speaking, what she wanted was Medicare for all. She agreed that the insurance system was a sham, all that good stuff. And I started to feel guilty. So I said, ma'am, I don't know if you know that, but I'm likely the most progressive, liberal, left winger you've ever met. I'm left of most. And what we were just talking about is Medicare for all. She looked at me straight in the eye. She turned red like a cherry. And then she said, but you are so nice. And that, every time I tell that story, people, the first thing they do is laugh, right? But the first thing I did was there was a sense of sadness that got over me. The fact that before she knew any labels attached to me, she liked me. She liked what I don't want to say she liked what I had to say. What I had to say made sense. She was absorbing it. But At the end, when I just went ahead and said who I was, it didn't compute in her head. She was confused. She was she couldn't hide her confusion, uh that the red in her face. I mean, I meant red. When I say red like a cherry, that's what I meant, and it showed. And then I'm just saying, but you're so nice. Then I kind of came back and I said, ma'am, we're all nice. And I said, there's a group here in Kingwood called Liberal Ladies Who Lunch. You should check them out. You'd realize how nice people really are. It's not the caricature that Fox News would make of them. It's not the caricature that everybody makes of liberals or anything like that. And to her, that I know it was a learning experience, but the thing about it is, one at a time, folks. One at a time. Sometimes I wonder how she's doing. I don't go to Starbucks all that much anymore. And in fact, personally, I'm boycotting Starbucks right now. But um, I wonder sometimes. But anyhow, we got a call from Betty, La Preciosa Betty. What's up?
I'm okay. McDonald, he has a killer happiness about him. And last week, when the king of Saudi Arabia was here, a reporter asked the king a question. Trump spoke up and said the king was a guest. Like, show some respect. They're reporters. They're not there to get their tennis racket restrung. They're reporters. On Thanksgiving, I will be going to my neighbor
Yes.
again. She has a stutter. He has a bum leg from polio. They are rare. No malice behind them. This morning, Artie Arneson wanted to know what intimate
Yes.
meant. It's when something that is stuck up your butt. Love y'all.
Thank you, Betty. Yeah, we're still having a little problem with our relay, with one particular channel not going over. I'm going to have to figure out that after the program, because I am unable to do it here in real time. So bear with me one more second, my friends. Betty, as usual, you always have something thoughtful to say. Let's go ahead and get to Jimmy. And for the relay, I'm going to kind of repeat what Jimmy had to say. Jimmy, how you doing?
Good. Hooray for Jake Tapper. I
Yes,
think the
Jake
word
Tapper.
we're looking for was confirm.
Yes. Jake Tapper
Okay,
did a
anyway,
great job yesterday, Jimmy, and you're correct.
United Healthcare had a full-page ad in the New York Times Sunday promoting their Medicare Advantage. And I love my Medicare Advantage. There's no copay for doctor visits or hospital visits. And they had mentioned that they also help you get eyeglasses every 2 years, and they'll pay for some of your dental care.
Jimmy. I have to interrupt you for this reason only. Number one, we are now simulcast on some other stations, right? And I have a screw up with my channels that I have to fix, so I have to kind of repeat what you had to say. But here it is. Jimmy just pointed out how great his personal Medicare is. And I am in I can't disagree with what my brother says about his Medicare Advantage. That is Medicare Advantage. But Jimmy, and I know you as a passionate person. Know you as someone who cares about other people as well. There are millions of people with some of the ads that have the same plans that you see with the ads on TV right now, where most of these major hospitals are saying they will not cover anyone on Medicare Advantage. So, what I'm saying is, I understand that personally, your particular Medicare Advantage plan is working for you. but it is not working well for most. And I think we have to have, in my opinion, I love me some Jimmy, but it's also about the others. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, sure. Everybody counts.
Right. So I mean, I think it is important that what we fight for is Medicare for all, so that not only Jimmy, who has a great plan in the state of in Houston, Texas, we have a lot of options in Houston, Texas, but throughout the world. And one other thing to remember, Jimmy, you are one healthy 90-something-year-old guy who every plan would love to have you on because you don't use a lot of services, right?
That's right. I don't really. I'm healthy. I don't go to doctors or hospitals very often at all.
Right. You don't go often at all. So let me tell you, Jimmy, I love you, but you are not a good example for this discussion. All right.
I say if United Healthcare is making too much money, then cut cut the amount of money the government gives them. So that's
Uh,
all I had to say. And I don't know why those hospitals turned down United Healthcare. I'd have to find out why.
I can tell you why. I can tell you why. The reason that they turned down United Healthcare is that they don't pay the bill. That's the reason why they don't pay the bill. So they either
That should be investigated.
it is investigated, but these guys have the money to fight it. But anyhow, Jimmy, I got to go on this one here, and I want to thank you for calling. And
Have a great Thanksgiving week.
you too. But wait a minute. I know I'm going to hear from you tomorrow, so I think I have till tomorrow to tell you Happy Turkey Day, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
Have a good one,
Hey,
my brother.
Berto.
Yes,
Hey, Berto.
talk to me.
I
You too.
looked at a headline this morning from the
Y-
Daily Overview, and it said
yes.
United Healthcare drops 1 million seniors in biggest cut in decades.
Okay. What our brother Van Beber said is United Healthcare dropped 1 million seniors, and that is true. And actually, it's more than that when you start adding all of them. What happens is when they become a burden, they can drop you. And guess what happens when they drop you? You can I need to make a correction here in the statements that I'm actually not a correction, a clarification. But if a Medicare advance, the only way you can go back to traditional Medicare and be able to get and afford the Medigap to cover the 20% is if the private company, the corporatocracy, the private company drops you from their plan, then and only then, and there's no other Medicare Advantage plan, then and only then can you go ahead and get back into traditional Medicare where you can actually afford the Medigap program. It's a sham. It's a shame. This is what we do in the most advanced country in the world. Thank you for bringing that up so I could clarify that, Jack. I appreciate that. I appreciate you bringing that up. All right. Let's see. Michael wants to talk about Medicare Advantage and what you were saying to Jimmy. All right, Michael, come on in, and Michael, for the sake of our
Yeah.
relay,
Okay.
go ahead.
Why did you throttle down Jimmy when he was telling something positive? You just
I
censored Jimmy, your friend. You censored you. He told him to hold up. Let me get
Michael,
this.
Michael, let me
You
tell you
just
why I did that. I'll tell you why I did that. I'll tell you why I did that. Michael is right. No, he's wrong. I didn't censor Jimmy. What I did is made it clear that Jimmy's experience wasn't the experience of most people on Medicare Advantage. Let me explain to Michael's what responsibility is, Mr. Michael. And I respect you. You should respect me as well. All right. Now, if you have a platform where you have thousands of people listening to you, if you have a platform where thousands of people are listening to you, It is your responsibility not to get any kind of information, however benevolent, that could possibly mislead people. My brother Jimmy, and Jimmy I know very well, he's a very good friend. And Jimmy, I can guarantee you, did not take our conversation the way that you took our conversation. I know Jimmy. He's my brother. Now, let me tell you, Jimmy's experience with Medicare Advantage is wonderful. It is great. Jimmy is a healthy 90-something-year-old person who eats right, has no problems, doesn't have to use any kind of complicated services. So Jimmy is a cash cow for Medicare Advantage, a cash cow. They get $10,000, $12,000 or more every year for Jimmy. If they give Jimmy $1,200 worth of service a year, it's a lot. I know Jimmy, you don't. Jimmy walks, he runs. Jimmy, he says he's now using a cane. I haven't seen Jimmy in a few weeks. He's a great guy. Insurance companies love him, but most of the people that are going for health care right now, they are not Jimmy. They don't eat like Jimmy. They don't exercise like Jimmy. They don't have the health acumen that Jimmy has. So they need insurance. And asking them if Jimmy comes on this program and tell his truth, and I don't actually give the entire picture of what Medicare Advantage is, I would not have done my job. There are thousands of people listening to this, and they expect to get and be able to make an informed decision, not a decision based on somebody who sells insurance and doesn't want the market corrupted with information because it'll reduce sales of Medicare Advantage. I would be wrong for doing that. I leave that for the basic networks. That's what the mainstream media does. They lie to people. They are paid to get people to buy something that they make a profit from at all cost. To my listeners, I will never, ever mislead or allow even truthful information can mislead if done incorrectly. You know, when they talk about statistics and what statistics can do, let's remember that. All right, Richard, come on in.
Yeah, thank you. All right, Berto. Deborah Burks, that's the woman's name you couldn't remember.
Yeah, I remember Deborah Burke. Thank you. That Deborah Burke was his. Yeah, thank you much.
Yeah, and also I think complicit was the word you were looking for earlier. But that's
what was the word?
The reason I called in. Complicit.
Complicit. Thank you. You're a good man.
Yeah. The reason I called, though, I'm just simply amazed at the people that are doing the all-care quarterbacking, trying to make Trump look like he's some kind of magic maneuver.
Yes.
Trying to put some sense to him kissing up to that when it's obvious to anybody with a little logic what he does.
Yes.
I mean, let me back up a little bit. The people that are trying to say he has this goal or
Richard, are you on a speakerphone? Because you're breaking up.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Let me get out in the yard. I'm under a metal roof.
Okay. Okay.
Better?
Yeah, that may be a little bit better. Let me just tell the relay what you've been talking about. What Richard is trying to make everybody know is that Trump is no master manipulator. And when you met with Mamdani, and it's something that I said before, it's not that Mamdani uses it. He's just wanted to jump on Mamdani's coattails. Go ahead, Richard.
Well, yeah, and bigger than that, he's trying to pick the Epstein case down the road,
right,
and get him another road without talking about it. Pedophilia is a plus for him. It doesn't
right.
Take an Einstein to pick.
Yeah, Richard, you're breaking up a bit too much, my brother. Let's talk tomorrow because I'm missing every other word. So let's talk tomorrow, my brother. Let's go to John. John, how you doing this morning, my brother? I think you're in Minnesota. Is this John from Minnesota?
No, this is Brother John from Houston,
Oh, this is
up
Brother
on
John
the
from Houston.
northwest
Yeah,
side.
got you. What's up, John?
Yeah. Uh, Medicare. Oh, he still got a little echo going on. Medicare Advantage and United Healthcare. I turned 65 last September, and I got on the Medicare. They sent certain letters and notices that actually was directing me towards Medicare Advantage.
Yes.
I had to qualify for that first before I could get a Medigap or any of that stuff.
Right.
Well, once I got Medicare Advantage, I was no longer eligible for the Medigap. However, I had 10 chronic illnesses, including diabetes type 1 and heart conditions, and several others. But when I got everything together, it didn't take long at all. They give me real high dollars on the OTC, which I'd spend on groceries. And that's a big help. That's a big help for me. And I get that every month. And so far, I go to the hospital quite frequently, and I've been there twice since September, since my birthday, since I got on this. And I've had no problem with the ambulances. I'm knocking on wood as I'm saying this.
Well,
I've had no problem with the hospitals that I've normally gone to.
I've heard your story many times.
Yeah, but I have heard some horror stories from some of my friends.
And let me just say this, right? Let me just say this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
As long as your plan, look, notice this, okay? Notice that Medicare Advantage plans have to renew every year, right? And they have, and all of them also have accounts, right? In other words, there are many, many, many plans. And all of those plans have to go through, is this plan profitable or not? If this plan profitable or not for the corporation. And if that plan is not profitable, they drop you. Right now, what I'm saying to folks like you and Jimmy is you're lucky. But for all the, for every Jimmy, right, let me finish.
That way.
Yeah, for every Jimmy and John that I have Peter, Paul, Mary, for every one person with a good experience, I can name you 10 callers. I have emails upon emails of people with problems, people that are willing to use their names of what they're going through. So what I'm saying is we need to abort and get rid of Medicare Advantage completely. It should be extricated.
I'm a big advocate of Medicare for all.
Absolutely.
For all.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to see that day.
Absolutely. But anyway, thank you very much for your call, John. And again,
no problem.
It's not about censoring what you're saying. You're having a good experience. Most don't. Thank you so kindly, my friend. All right. Anyway, let's see who we've got here. We've got Bard. This should be interesting. Come on in, Bard.
Yeah,
Bard, you're on.
Mike. You're right. Egberto censors me all the time, and you're noticing too much.
Yes.
It doesn't fit his false narrative. Just every day is fairy tales and lies.
All right. Thank you, Bard. If you're going to call here to tell me that I lie when I know better, you don't have the opportunity to come on air to lie about me. By the way, people, my brothers and my sisters listening, everything that I say, I ask you to feel free to double check, triple check, whatever. I stay informed. My brother Bard, who calls in with phantom type information, their sources of information that they have faith in is what leads astray. Right now, our country is astray, not because these are bad people. Bard's not a bad person. Most people are good people. But you know what? When you allow yourself to be led astray, even though there are people begging and dragging and kicking, trying to inform you, at that point, it's on you. It's on you, and you have to ask yourself, why are you so willing to have people screw with your mind? Ask yourself, why are you so willing to accept lies that it's quite verifiably so? Let's go to Don. Come on in, Don.
I was listening to you and Michael, and I'm going to be straight up. I think I agree with Michael.
Fine.
I think you are hard on Jim. I have Medicare Advantage. He has a different provider than me.
Yes.
Maybe that's the reason why he may be having issues. United Healthcare, you say, has dropped 1 million seniors.
Yes.
I haven't heard that from anybody.
I know you haven't heard it, and of course. But let me ask you something, Don. And it's fine to agree with Michael. This is a free country. All I can tell you is fact-based information. You can choose to accept it or not. Not only can you choose to accept it or not, but you can also pay the price when your particular plan go bust, because it's a financial situation. In other words, your plan may be balanced enough with people that it is still profitable after we, the American people, pay more for your Medicare than we pay for traditional Medicare. Because remember that Medicare Advantage costs all of us taxpayers more money than traditional.
I'm 72 years old, and I'm still paying into Medicare and the Social Security.
Anybody who works and makes...
I'm paying for whatever I use.
No, you're not. Let me just say that you're not. I am not.
Yes,
None of us really.
And you
Sir,
can't twist that.
Sir.
I'm sorry, man. It just don't work that way.
No, my brother.
Own research.
My brother,
Yes,
my brother.
I do my own research. I've listened to you for over a year.
My brother, you are...
all this stuff. So
Sir.
I did my own research because I need insurance, and I went the way that I needed to go, and it works.
And let me tell you, okay? And fine. It works. It works for you. So it doesn't work for most. Sir, I am not. It's not up for debate. In fact, I should be having the expert from Social Security works on that should make this clear. You know what? Let me tell you something before I move on. What drives me sometime insane? Those of us, think about this. Why in the hell would I come on a station, on a radio show, to try to get folks to do things that would harm them? Why would I do that? And when our brother just talked about doing his research, that's false. If he did his research, he would actually find the truth. I mean, even the government, even Donald Trump's government's research says otherwise about Medicare Advantage. I mean, what I find most, what I find distressing, and I'll put it plainly, is how many people out there that are willing to do that they don't have they don't have the right, the class, the when I say class, I'm talking about what class they're in financially. They shouldn't be out there trying to support these corporations ripping us off with Medicare Advantage. And still they come out here and for some reason it's always mostly men come out here and try to fight they're like hell for Medicare Advantage. It is so good. And here we are saying, hey, remember, for Medicare Advantage to stay alive, of course you have to have some good. You have to have some people doing fine. You must have some people doing fine. Otherwise, it will all collapse in itself. What we're trying to do is protect in the aggregate. And for you to come on here and try to defend a capitalist mode for healthcare that kills. One of the reasons I work so hard, and many of us work so hard to inform, is for those who can make a difference in our society, for those who are going to elect the right people, to have them informed appropriately so that we don't allow these thugs and parasites, which is what they are, to do what they do. Because part of what they do is brainwash those. Anybody who looks at how Medicare Advantage is funded, anybody who look at how Medicare Advantage distributes money, anybody who looks at how Medicare Advantage actuates how it bills you, including you, Don, how you are billed to Medicare. It's shameful to support this. It is shameful. Now, look, for those who have only seen the ads, I get it. I get it. But for those of you who someone is giving you fact information, including links, I have articles at my website, egberto.substack.com, that gives a full context of the data, the information, where you can get it, how much Medicare Advantage charges the government, how much CMS pays. I have all that data for you. And for you to come on this air, my brother, and somehow malign what I have to say. Anyway, sorry about that, my people. Go ahead, studio, real quick.
I got nothing. It's just that, Medicare Advantage gets a payment from the government when they sign them up. And
yes.
They bill Medicare for your care at a profit. That's what makes it wrong.
It's ridiculous.
It's sad.
Thank you. Real quick, Mayana? Nothing?
Nothing.
That's right. All right, folks. Anyway, folks, look, love you all. Thank you for calling. Sorry for getting a little bit up, but I tell you, when people are harming people, it really gets to me. My name is Egberto Willis. This is Politics Done Right, and you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.